again. This is Satan's Trilogy, Book 3, Chapter 3, and reading 84. I am the author and the narrator. Sit back, relax, and let the story unfold. Other girls scrambled to pick up the loose balls. Esther stood back and wondered about this game. She had never played dodgeball, although she had read about the various rules imposed in the game. Ms. Strong yelled out, "Girls, we need a winner. Who will it be?" Esther remained in the back of the section. She had caught several balls, forcing 3 people out. Now she was alone. 2 girls on the other side had just been hit at the same time. The opposite side had 4 girls. Amy and Raven were 2 of them. The other 2 girls threw balls at the same time and came close to the edge of the center line, but did not cross over. Esther caught the first, quickly dropped it, and caught the second ball. The 2 girls were out. Now Amy and Raven would team up against Esther. They had a short discussion on their strategy and then came running forward at the same time, throwing their 2 balls simultaneously. Esther had ran to the far back corner, and the girls' aim followed her, throwing the balls like projectiles. They reached Esther at exactly the same time. Esther swiftly moved her hands to the side of each ball and forced them together. The game was over, and Esther had won. Miss Strong said, "I'm giving Esther the whistle. She is the judge on the next game. This way I can join in on the fun." Esther laughed and took the whistle from Miss Strong and helped to place the 6 balls along the center line of the gymnasium. Miss Strong yelled out, "If your first name starts with a letter from A to L, go to the east side. Everyone else should come to this side." Miss Strong stood on the west side of the gymnasium. Like Esther, she stood back to let others sacrifice themselves at the start of the game. Esther stood on the center of the stage in front of the gymnasium and took a look at where the girls were standing. Once she saw everyone was behind the free throw line, she blew her whistle. Nearly a dozen girls ran forward to retrieve the balls, and again the girls closest to the center line were struck by a ball and called out. A second wave of girls grabbed for the 6 balls and quickly threw out another 6 competitors. Miss Strong had taken Esther's strategy and stood back, catching a few balls thrown at her and moving along the back of the playing area, putting the greatest distance between her and whoever had control of a ball. Distance meant more time to react and evade or catch a thrown ball. Quickly, it was down to 3 on both sides. Ms. Strong was still in the running, and Amy was on her side. Raven and Day were on the other side with 1 other competitor. Somehow, all 6 balls ended up with them. The 3 girls huddled. The plan was to take Miss Strong out of the picture by throwing 3 balls at her simultaneously. They left 3 balls on the floor behind them. Running forward hard and fast, each girl threw her ball hard and low at Miss Strong. Not ready for such a strategy, Miss Strong jumped high to avoid 2 balls, but was struck by the 3rd. Miss Strong would have to leave the playing field. Now Amy was alone. She quickly picked up 2 of the balls rolling on the floor and charged the line, throwing each ball at the girls retrieving. She struck 2 on the lower leg. Only Day was left, and she was grabbing 2 balls and charging back to the center line, realizing Amy was now vulnerable. Amy reached the back edge of her side and quickly turned to see what was happening. A ball was immediately in front of her gut, Amy quickly braced, and as the ball hit her, she managed to grab it on both sides. Holding onto the ball, her forward motion sent her falling to the floor, but Amy had managed to retain hold of the ball. Amy was the obvious winner of Game 2. Day quickly ran up and helped Amy off the floor. "Amy," said Day, "are you all right?" Amy was still holding on to the ball and had a huge grin of happiness on her face. "Day, I don't know how I caught that ball, but I did." Amy was jumping on Day, and at least a dozen girls had surrounded Amy to congratulate her. Miss Strong yelled out, "All right, Amy is the new ref, and this is our last contest. So good luck to everyone. If your birthday falls between January and July, please go to the east side. Everyone else stay here." Amy was excited to become the referee. Miss Strong yelled out, "Oh, I have one more surprise for this match. We will add another 6 balls." The same young man that had helped earlier now brought into the gymnasium a barrel on wheels that held another 6 balls. As he left, Amy and Miss Strong placed the balls on the center line and then went to their positions. Amy understood the rules. She watched as everyone positioned themselves for the whistle. Within a few seconds, she blew the whistle loud, and at least a dozen girls on both sides ran forward to claim some balls. Others had learned from Esther's and Mrs. Strong's example that staying back wasn't a bad idea. So little more than half of the class is playing safe and snagging loose balls at a safer distance. A couple of thrown balls hit 2 people before touching the floor, and they were out. Within a few minutes, Esther and Raven stood alone on the east end of the gymnasium, and Miss Strong, Day, Chris, and a girl named Hope were on the opposite side. A dozen balls were in play. Esther and Raven both held 2 each, while the other side were holding none. But they had 8 balls slowly rolling about on the floor in front of them. Miss Strong and Amy both watched 2 balls roll slowly towards them, and almost simultaneously they darted for the balls and reached the center line, throwing them with extreme speed. But Esther and Raven both had dodged the balls and run forward to claim a victory. Raven was closest to Miss Strong, and she threw a ball hard towards her. Miss Strong never saw it coming, but when the ball bounced off her behind, she knew the game had ended for her. Esther had reached Day in breakneck time, and she rolled a ball on the floor towards her. Day stopped to pick it up, and Esther stood still. As Day leaned forward to pick up the ball, Esther's second ball came lazily falling onto her back and then the floor. Day was out of the game, struck by a lob ball. Amy, on top of the stage and watching the action, said, "Oh, I see that Miss Strong has been hit by a ball thrown by Raven. Day-Ho has been taken out by her sister. That leaves only Hope to defend her side." Hope ran to the back and waited. Her breathing was heavy, and she waited for something to happen. Hope stood alone. Esther and Raven collected 2 balls each and rolled several loose balls to the back end of their side. They then went to the back of their end to discuss the game strategy. Hope watched them. She knew that Esther was strong and that Raven was accurate in her throwing. Several balls were within reach of Hope, yet she was too frightened to attempt to reach them. She had never gone so far in the game, and she didn't know how to handle her position. Suddenly, Esther came running forward, and Raven followed her. Tossing the ball forward, towards Hope, Esther had overextended herself and gone over the center line. Amy quickly called her out, and the ball she had thrown was no longer considered in play. Although the ball had been thrown hard, butt high and bounced off the wall behind Hope. Now, within a split second of Esther's throw, Raven had thrown her ball hard and fast. It reached Hope at her gut level. Hope caved in towards the ball and held on to it. Hope became the final winner. The entire class surrounded Hope, and some of the girls lifted her on their shoulders, then paraded about for a few seconds. Miss Strong approached Hope and congratulated her, then added, "This must be a young girl's game," smiled and said, "Let's shower and come back to the bleachers as soon as possible." Having spent over 18 weeks together, the class felt close. Everyone knew Esther, the girl with the dragon tattoo, and they all knew the Gothic girls leading the race. There was a strong sense of kinship. Amy was washing Esther's back when nearly a dozen of her class approached them in the shower. The forwardmost girl spoke up. "Esther, we all love your dragon. We all agree that you are very special, and so is the dragon. We are wondering if you would allow us to share in washing your back." Esther knew every girl's name. She had studied their photos on the school's website and had easily submitted to memory their interests and goals as they had posted them on Facebook. Esther smiled. "I am from China, where it is an honor to have someone offer to wash your back." Esther smiled at the girl whose name was Mila. Esther then added, "My dragon has many strengths, and those that touch her will have dreams." Esther looked at the dozen or more girls. "Believe that all of you will have good dreams." Esther smiled. "We should hurry." Esther turned and waited for the dozen girls to take a moment to wash her back and to touch her dragon. Miss Strong waited patiently for the girls, and as the last of them joined the others on the bleachers, Miss Strong spoke up. "The bus will be here at the end of the 7th hour class," Miss Strong added. "The bus will leave once we are all on board and not a minute sooner." Miss Strong then added, "You all have some new clothes, black, I believe. I think it would be nice to wear them for our pasta dinner." Miss Strong smiled and then said, "Of course, I will be wearing black." The bell rang and Miss Strong yelled out, "Dismissed." And I think I will stop there. That was reading 84. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, be safe and take care.